With that, I'd like to open this up to any questions, Jim, that might be available.
Okay, Dave, let's go to as many of the questions as possible. What would you say is the average life expectancy of an oil-water separation system?
The average life expectancy that we see in industry for an oil-water separator is, I'd say, about 20 years. That's what's expected. We read that in the specs a lot as a target. And a lot of this has to do with wastewater, how aggressive it is to the materials of construction. We shoot for a 20-year life expectancy, and a lot of meeting this has to do with the right choice of materials of construction. If it's carbon steel, the right blasting and painting coatings on that. And even in the oil and gas industry, we see a lot of their specs calling for a 30-year life expectancy. And we pick the materials carefully, the paint carefully, and the thickness of the carbon steel, if there is any.
Our current oil-water separation system gets fouled pretty regularly, but it was expensive. Is there a way to upgrade it, or do we need to replace it entirely?
That's a good question. We see this a lot. We get clients who call and say, we have an oil-water separator that's underperforming, or it's fouling too often and requiring too much maintenance. And you know, the answer is that you picked a separator that had a coalescer system in that was not meeting your need. Probably worked well for a while and they foul up. If the tank's in good condition, we've done a lot of retrofits where we're able to size the tank up, pull the guts out and put in the multi-pack design and get them back on track with longer runs between maintenance.
Up next, can you give us some idea of the operating costs of using Mercer's system once I've installed the hardware?
Right, that's a very good question, because I see this as something that's not looked at closely by people buying separators. There is the initial purchase, and then there's the cost of ownership. And the cost of ownership exceeds the cost of the equipment, so it's very important. Equipment on a traditional application with medium to heavy solids has to be cleaned quarterly. And with a quarterly cleaning, there's a crew, manpower with labor, typically from half a day to a day for an average sized piece of equipment. And the manpower is traditionally about 4, 5, up to 6 people, depending on the crew and the equipment. There's also the cost of the vac truck and the steam cleaning truck. The vac truck typically will be between 3,000 and 6,000 gallons, and on a large unit they need several of these. Smaller costs would be some of the PPE, like the suits they wear, the oil absorbents, the gloves, the glasses, and the like. And lately we've seen the cost of the plastic sheeting going underneath the trucks, around the separator where they're cleaning the coalescers. And another cost that's involved is the actual removal and disposal cost of the wastewater. If you've got a 500 GPM unit, you may have, say, 5,000 gallons of wastewater to get rid of. That adds up. On a traditional cleaning of a 500 GPM unit, you're looking at potentially over $10,000 of cleaning. So over the life cycle of a piece of equipment, that adds up very quickly. Another consideration is actually the cost of the media. The coalescers, a lot of these plastic ones that are hard to clean, after a year or two, they're tossed out and replaced with new. And that's not cheap. And depending on the media, it would depend how much that costs, but that'll range from $5,000 to probably about $30,000 for a 500 GPM unit. And probably one of the costs that you don't add up in dollars and cents is the cost to a client's reputation or even fines if they're not in compliance. We see a lot of our clients not wanting to have their name put up in the papers over being out of compliance.
Dave, we have to wrap up the questions right here, but we'd certainly like to thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dave is the last of our educational sessions for today, but before you head for the exhibit hall, please click on the Take Survey button and voice your opinion. Your feedback helps us improve the quality of our Globalspec events, making them an even better investment of your time. And now it's time to head to the exhibit hall, where you'll find manufacturer product reps, engineers, and technical specialists waiting to answer your questions. Remember, you can see any of today's presentations during our on-demand period, but exhibitor representatives are only here on the day of the live event, so spend time with them while you can. And if you have a breakthrough technology or a new application to share with your peers, why not consider becoming a speaker in one of our upcoming events? You can find the speaker submittal form at our event help desk in the exhibit hall. While you're there, you can even chat about your plans for a presentation with one of our event managers. Thank you for choosing to spend your day with us in this Globalspec Water Quality and Water Reclamation online trade show and event. Enjoy the rest of your day with us.